Hi, this is 365801 and this is another 2019 BL review video. This one is about my 2019 released purchases. So these are the books that I have been able to buy during 2019 that were also released in 2019. So quite a small number compared to the total. This is 25 volumes and my total number of purchases for the year in terms of print volumes, not print titles I should say, but print volumes, was 172. So 25 out of 172 volumes purchased were 2019 releases. Now the eagle-eyed Fudanshi, Fujoshi and Fujin amongst you will be able to see that I have included Escape Journey Volume 2 and 10 Count Volume 6. Now these were actually released by Sublime in December 2018. However, because I'm in the UK, they were not available to purchase until January 2019. So I've included them here in this haul video. So these are the purchases I made in 2019 of 2019 releases, and the majority of them you can see are Sublime titles. Many of them were some new releases, so Candy Color Paradox and Love in Limbo. Some of them were completing series, so 10 Count, Strange and Mystifying Story, Blue Morning, and some of them were continuing stories, so Crimson Spell, Coyote. Punch Up was a bit of a surprise, so I didn't know it was going to be continuing, so I made sure that I collected Punch Up during this year to be able to get to read that in complete so far. So, some of the other titles that I purchased were from Seven Seas, some really amazing titles, really good quality, very curated. I really enjoy the Seven Seas ones. Also some new ones from Yen Press and some other ones from Viz and Kodansha as well. There are some titles that were released in 2019 that are not included in this image and that might surprise a few people, and that is 10 Count, which is a very hyped manga, started releasing I think in January 2019 and is onto maybe volume 5, which will probably not be released until January 2020 in the UK, just because of the weeks you have to wait. I haven't been able to collect any volumes yet of 10 Count. It's on my wish list. I will get on it. I think hopefully 2020 I'll be able to get a few copies and start reading that. The other title that's missing from here that I'd really like to get hold of is Classmates. I have Classmates in Japanese. I have practically every volume of Classmates, OB as well, of course. So I have lots of anime goods and manga goods from Classmates too, so I have lots of things for Classmates, but I don't actually have the English volumes, so that's something else that I'd like to get for 2020. Some other things that I would like to get are obviously continuing on with Candy Color Paradox, and also with That Blue Sky Feeling Volume 3, which I have not yet got, and I think it is only a 3-volume series, so I'd really like to be able to purchase it. I also don't have the rest of the Hitorajime My Hero. I only have volume 1 so far, so I need to collect the rest of them as well. Now, as you can see, there are 25 volumes of manga here, and out of the total that I purchased for 2019, which was 172 volumes of print manga, that's actually quite a small percentage. It's only 14.5%. So just less than 15% of the total number of volumes that I purchased for 2019 were actually 2019 releases. So really small number. This really goes to show that my focus was not on the newest releases, but more on older titles that I could get for a good price. So for example, 2017 or 2018 releases that I would be able to get for a good price, as well as older out-of-print titles that were a bit harder to get hold of or that I could get for a really good price as well. So my focus has obviously not been on the newest and the latest, with only 25 or 15% of the total. So 85% of my purchases for 2019 were not 2019 releases. So of the 2019 releases that I purchased, how many of them did I actually read? And I think that's a really interesting statistic as well. I have arranged them on the screen in 3 different piles, just because I couldn't get one of them into frame, into the shot. So I have The Love in Limbo and Strange and Mystifying Story I read, Candy Colour Paradox 1 and 2 I read, 10 Count read, Coyote read, Punch Up, all of that pile down to Hitorejime My Hero, that was all read. So I read those ones. The other ones at the back, I have not read for 2019. Obviously many of those were December purchases, so they were a bit too late in the year to actually sit down and read them. Some of them, for example Blue Morning, I don't have the rest of the set in this collection. The rest of it is back in the other collection, as is the case for The World's Greatest First Love. So the ones that I'm looking forward to reading are Monster and the Beast, I Hear the Sunspot Limit Volume 2, and The Cornered Mouse Dreams of Cheese, as well as High School Life of a Fudanshi Volume 5. Sweet Blood I will not be able to read, even though it's Volume 10, and I was surprised that Volume 10 was actually released in 2019, but yes, it was. I will be able to read that when I have the complete set. I will be able to read Crimson Spell when I have the complete set. I'm still missing Volume 4, and when I get the rest of the volumes together in one place, I will read Blue Morning and The World's Greatest First Love. So most of these I have actually read. In fact, I have read 60% of my 2019 release purchases. 60% is a really good percentage, especially when I compared it to the total for what I have bought in 2019. So, as I said, 172 volumes, so that meant that minus the 25 of these 2019 releases, that's 147 volumes of non-29, so older releases, 147. Now, from those 147, I read a grand total of 28 volumes. 28 from 147 is not a good percentage. It's only 19%. So, from the newest releases, it's 60, and from the older or out of print releases, it's only 19. And so for me, that really shows that I'm focusing my collecting too much on trying to fill in gaps and getting old titles and getting titles, rather than actually sitting down and reading them and evaluating them and reviewing them and spending time actually enjoying the collection rather than just enjoying collecting. And there's a bit of a difference. So is one hoarding or is it actually collecting? So I enjoy collecting. I enjoy hunting out for a good price for a title. I enjoy searching websites and discovering new titles that I didn't know had been printed. So I enjoy all of that. But am I actually enjoying my collection if I'm not sitting down and reading them as well? So it really shows me that from the new titles, I'm enjoying these titles and I'm looking forward to getting more of them, and when I get them I'm excited, so excited that I can't wait, I need to read them. So 60%, and if I'm honest, most of the ones I got in December I would have literally just sat down and read it if I wasn't reading something else or doing something else because it's Christmas. So I want to read the newest titles, I want to get the latest ones, and I'm excited about what's being released. Whereas the older titles, I'm a little bit less excited about sitting down and reading them straight away. And some of them I'm thinking, well, I'm glad I've got you. If I never read you, that's okay. But actually it's not. So in terms of the number of books that I read overall for the year, that I actually purchased, it was not as high as it probably should be, considering I bought 172 and I actually only read 38. That's not very much. So that's one of the New Year's resolutions for this channel. So part of the first video was about budgeting, so I'm going to be budgeting a lot more for 2020, and the other resolution is to actually read and enjoy my collection a lot more than I have been doing so far, and not focusing so much on adding to it, but instead actually looking at it and what have I got, and reading it and enjoying it and writing reviews and things like that. So that's one of the major differences I think for 2020. I'll be reading some more. Having not read very much of my older out of print titles, only 19%, that's a bit of a failing I think on my part. So there was No point in buying things if you're not excited about reading them and wanting to read them. I do think, yes, I want to purchase everything at some point, but I want to be excited about reading it. So that might be a change of heart in that respect. So yeah, overall, my 2019 releases that I purchased were all really exciting and excellent. There's definitely a few missing from 2019 that were released, and I'd like to get them at some point because I am excited to read them too. But for 25 volumes and most of them read, 60%, I think that's quite good. So I'm really positive about my 2019 release purchases. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.